again, open door policy. We've turned over the platform to a degree to the people, right? Like Bane, we've come into the city of Gotham. We are necessary evil. They will say, a lot of folks will say, ironically, they'll cuddle up to the evil folks and then say, Paulie's the evil one. So I'll take on that role. I'm Bane. I'm coming into Gotham. And I turn the broadcast over to you, the people, right? So excuse me for doing a little performance there. I'm hoping that they'll whisk me away and I can be like a cabaret singer performing some Shakespearean plays and doing the acting and being a clown that I was born to be, rather than having to stand on rights and freedoms and be an example of a man, which is a completely ridiculous notion, but I guess somebody's got to do it. So let me unmute Nicholas and Jared. Who wants to go first? I want to see you fight it out. Fight, slaves, get in the pit and battle.
Can you hear me?
Battle.
He was on first.
Oh, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
No, it's all right.
You're absolutely right. No, this man, see, you can tell by the way this man's dressed and the room he's in and how he presents. He's not in a truck with a light that goes off after 15 seconds. This is an honorable, respectable, cordial, and courteous man, and he took notice of the fact, what I should have noticed, that you were here first, and that's the ethical thing to do. So, Jared, welcome, greetings. I've seen you from time to time, I believe, on the social medias, on the interwebs. What do you have for us?
Can you hear me?
Absolutely. 5 by 5, as they say in business, as you'll know, as I learned last week.
Well, I just wanted to say to all the globetards like Thomas and the rest of to everybody that I was Thomas a couple of years ago, until I actually took the time and did the research and found out and know for a fact the earth is flat. It's not even arguable at this point. There is zero evidence proving the earth is a globe or a spinning ball, and there's a mountain of evidence bigger than fucking Everest that it's flat and stationary. I mean, it's just ridiculous. He has all the same programmed responses, no evidence, no facts, just the same nonsense that I used to spew, and all the globetards do. I mean, you talk about it every day, the brainwashing. It's the same brainwashing that people think that that all these statutes and ordinance and codes and shit apply to them, that they have to listen to government. It's the same brainwashing that they believe that they're on a sphere.
Excuse me, I was sneezing. I was expelling some irritants that had collected in my nostrils. Pardon me. Basically, Thomas is a globetard, and we can't really use that term because you still added tard on the end of it, and tard is kind of microaggressive, and it makes us feel unsafe. So you're gonna have to come up with a different word, please.
There's two movies, Level and Level 2. You can watch them on YouTube. Like I said, there's a mountain of evidence. There's no pictures from space, not a single one. If the space station actually existed, cell phones have been around for 20 years or longer. How come not one single astronaut's ever put his iPhone out the hole of the space station and took a picture from fucking space? Because it doesn't exist. You can't fucking, you can't take a picture from space when the space station and all that shit's fake.
I tend to believe that everything NASA puts forth, because they admit it is fake or a rendering. With that said, I don't think it would work that way, that you could go up into space and open the window and put a phone out.
The porthole. There's portholes, right?
There's windows. Again, I'm not. Maybe it's possible. I don't know enough. At least
they tell us there are the pictures, the fake pictures they show us.
Here's the problem, right? I think we have way too many issues to address in our inner space to be worried this much about outer space. There's not a man or woman who I meet who has their inner space enough together to be this worried about outer space, where they can't even go and get to. Right?
But if you live on a ball, you're not connected to the one.
Everything else about is bullshit. What's the difference what the shape of what we live on is? This is the most inane and meaningless and superfluous conversation, because this information is way more than what's needed. All we need to know is who and what we are and what we're not. People who argue about the shape of the earth focus on that to, again, avoid inner space. Inner space is where the power is. There's way more power in inner space than there is with Donnie's Space Force flying out amongst the meteorites. right? I mean, it's just absurd at this point. Like, we're even talking about any of this. And again, invariably, when I turn the broadcast over, that's what everyone wants to do, is argue over the shape of what we're on, that you can't even verify it. Like, you're arguing from a position you can't verify on both sides. It's presumptuous and deductive and reductive logic. Oh, I look out and everything's round, so what I'm on is round. Okay, so if I was a blind man somehow,
like Thomas was talking about, there is no spheres.
And you gave me vision for 5 minutes, and I looked through a telescope and saw everything else was round, and then you put the blindfold back on me, I could conclude that my house is round, right? Because everything else I observed out there is round. So what I'm on and what I'm in must be round. That's reductionist and deductive logic, and it doesn't square because it's a non-provable concept. Until somebody takes a video without a fisheye lens, and even then, it's still not conclusive because it could be doctored. Until we all go up in the spaceship with Donnie and join the Force, and we verify for ourselves, it's just a fruitless
common sense.
Conversation.
It's common sense. If the horizon always rises to your eye level, no matter how high you go. When you're in an airplane, you look out the window, the horizon's at eye level. If you were on a ball, the horizon would be below you, thousands of feet. You'd have to look down to see the horizon. That's common sense. There is no ball.
Again, I don't necessarily accept the claim that if it was rounded, that you could sort of see over the curvature. I don't necessarily accept that.
You've flown on an airplane, Paul, haven't you?
Yes, I have in fact flown on an airplane, and I was quite unsafe, which is why I'm no longer allowed.
An airplane takes off, it levels out, no matter how long the flight is. If it could be a 20-hour flight, it flies level and then it descends. If you lived on a ball, you'd have to constantly nose down and follow the curve of the earth. You'd fly off into space.
I'm gonna have to stop you because I'm getting all this ranting. I've done 6 hours of ranting today with very little thanks and adulation and adoration. So I'm starting to work up an appetite. And the gimp, much like the character in that movie, I think it's what was that movie? I know one of you folks knows it. That movie where they had the little sort of decrepit fellow. He was dressed up in a leather outfit, and he was kept in the basement. And they only really ever brought him out to have homosexual interactions with other beings, right? And Hard Hat seems kind of intrigued by that. So it's good to know he's excited and intrigued by that. And I'm not necessarily saying there's anything wrong with that by any means. Openly queer, non-binary, gender activist here, right? I've come out. So I'm asking you again, Gimpy boy, come on up. I'm going to put the link because maybe you didn't get it. I already told you. You don't have to be afraid. I'm not going to pull the gun on you. I'm not going to pull the gun on him. Will you just let him know down there, down in the pit? I'm not going to let anyone else, and I'm not going to pull the gun on you again, because you keep saying I was chosen by Jesus Christ. God save me. You know, you're on some kind of rap about me because you heard me say that I could say that I was a Christed being, because I believe a Christed being is a being who has knowledge of self and a certain level of knowledge of the universe. So that to you sounded like me saying that I'm Jesus. So just please come on up so we can debate this and put this to rest for all the other folks out there like you. Again, I promise I won't pull the gun on you. You have nothing to fear except making yourself look foolish and embarrassing yourself. And of course, that's not going to happen. That never.
Where's your dad at? I thought he was coming back up.
Well, that's the thing, right? My father, or everyone, you know, like folks rarely come up here and look foolish and embarrass themselves. If anything, I'm the one who looks foolish. I embarrass myself. I'm constantly smoking weed. I'm theorizing.
I've never seen you look foolish once.
No, don't listen. Don't do that.
I love the way you handled Tampa earlier today. It was awesome. Best show ever.
Well, I just wanted to get us all right so we can stop the genocide and slavery. I'm weird like that. So, you know, I care more about truth than I care about favoritism, being liked, you know, even being loved, right? I don't really care how much my family and friends and everybody in this realm likes me or loves me or what I'm doing or what they even really have to say about it. I'm not interested. I'm walking my path. I believe that it's within the co-creation, right? Connected to the Most High, whatever you want to believe that is, right? I'm led by God, whatever you want to believe that is. So yes, if the being thinks that's funny and that's interesting and fascinating, come on up and we can debate it. Because again, I'm sure you're not going to embarrass yourself or make yourself look like a fool. And I promise I won't pull the gun on you. So Jared, give us some let me go back, hard hat, final thoughts. I want to let you go. I want to start to wrap this up. It's getting out of hand. We're going on 6 or 7 hours of broadcasting, which shows how little I actually have to do in my real life. And it's starting to be embarrassing on my end, right?
I got nothing. I just think, Paul, keep up the good work, man. You're doing fucking awesome. And I got a bar of silver. I guess you didn't get that email, but we'll email and I'm going to send you a bar. I remember some other guy was saying it. But anyway, I got some silver. We'll figure it out. But keep up the good work, buddy. It's fucking awesome. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. And I'll be in touch with you. I'm going to let you go. We'll be back tomorrow. Folks, one of the good people sent me a couple silver coins. So, yeah, I mean, I'm always open to that. Hopefully you don't send me packets of fentanyl and anthrax to try to take me up out of here. Maybe GIMP, someone like that. They're really upset, angry, hating, confused, and they might just try to send me over a packet of fentanyl or anthrax. So please don't do that. If you have contributions, there's always channels, if you want to call it that. There's always ways. I do accept support and contributions. I know I'm a horrible man for that. So Jared, and then I'm going to turn the floor over to you, Nicholas, because we barely heard from you at all, and you've been extremely polite and upstanding. So we're going to turn the whole thing over to you at the end. Jared, can you give us some final words before we leave up out of here?
I don't know. I just want to say you're awesome. I heard you on Crow 777, and I've been watching and listening to you ever since. You talk nothing but the truth. It's 100% fact and truth. It doesn't matter what other people think. It is the truth, dude. There's no way around it. And it's just like all the cops and the policy enforcers and everything that have never even read the Constitution. They're supposed to uphold it. It's the same thing with flat Earth. The people that think they live on a sphere have never looked into it, have never taken the time to do anything. And it does matter. It matters a whole lot. But other than that, thanks again for another great show. I'll see you tomorrow, I guess.
Man. Appreciate you. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. So he had said something, and then someone distracted me with saying they're going to send me DMT. And of course, I could never knowingly accept anything like that. I also could never stop anybody from actually sending it. So, if you do send something like that, please don't inform me of it, because that would be illegal for me to knowingly accept something like that. But I couldn't stop you from sending it. And if I retrieved it unknowingly and something were to happen, I could always claim, how dare that low-life miscreant send me an ounce of DMT? I had no idea that was in there, and I would never use that, of course. So, Nicholas, Peter, we appreciate you being patient. We also have MacGyver in the back. If he's still there, I had to put him backstage because I kept muting him and he kept unmuting, and I think he thought we were playing a game, and it wasn't exactly a game. I wanted to mute him because there was feedback. So he misunderstood me. He was playing this game and I didn't want to play anymore, so I put him back there, but I'll bring him back out if you can hear me. Nicholas, we appreciate you being patient. What do you got for us? The floor is yours.
Oh, well, I know it's time for you to wrap things up. So I didn't realize, because I tried joining when it was full. So I thought it was just waiting for you to let me in, but then I realized I had to refresh it. So that's what put me into the feed at near the end. But I was watching it for about an hour or two. So yeah, just like you were saying, the flat Earth and round Earth stuff, it doesn't matter. What are we in? What situation are we in right now? And that's what's most important. So I was really getting kind of frustrated with the conversation, because we can be talking about a lot more empowering things and maybe bounce off ideas and talk about stuff that maybe I haven't heard before.
It's important to understand, maybe we can do our own broadcast, Nicholas. When we do this nightly stream, I make it clear during the day that it may get a little wacky during the day, but during the nighttime, you never know, because I'm experimenting with the broadcast platform and the audience. I'm trying to see what's interesting, what works, right? I want it to be real, and I want it to be exciting, and I want it to be different. So again, much like my life, I'm playing with it, I'm experiencing, and I'm learning as we go. And again, there is a space of just kicking back, having fun, letting it get crazy, turning it over, and seeing what people think about it. The GIMP is still down there talking. He's now threatening me, right? So this is what these folks do. This is what they're about, right? First, he says he's scared. He doesn't want to come up because I might pull a gun on him through a camera. Now he's saying he won't get at me from afar. He's going to confront me face to face if I ever come out of hiding. Well, GIMP, you know where I'm at. I've made no secret of where I'm at. If you want to contact me privately, I will come down and pay a special visit with you. We can meet and have coffee down in town, and you can explain to me just exactly what it is that you have an issue with. But for right now, I'm just going to have to relegate you to the status and standing of watching, waiting, following, and hating. You're just a coward. You won't come up and show your face. You want to threaten me. You're going to do something when I come out of hiding. I'm not in hiding, and I would never go into hiding for someone like you, a lowly secretary-like slave typing in the chat, right? Because you're not a danger. If the whole state of Colorado can't send me into hiding, the GIMP is not going to do it, right? So again, I have a lot more formidable opposition. They're not my opposition, but some folks out there sometimes don't like when I shout things like rights and freedoms and law of the land. They say that's anti-government. But again, these folks aren't going to send me into hiding. So I'm not too sure what makes you think you're going to do it. But I'd like to see you try. I'm always prepared and ready, as you know. So I think it would be fun, right? What an ironic ending to this journey of the thing we call Paul Unslaved, but to be taken out somewhere by the GIMP, right? If you can do it, right? Better men might have tried in the past. If you can do it, then God bless you, right? But just be ready for whatever you give, you might get back and then some. So your thoughts, Nicholas, Peter, Ruggiero, because these are the kind of sick folks who contact me and email me and message me from time to time, threatening me they're going to do something to me. And they don't understand where I'm at and what I'm about, right? But they're going to learn at some point.
Yeah, I think I have my full name on here, my YouTube channel or whatever thing I do where I'm creating. I put my full name, I put my face up there. There's nothing to really be afraid of. So if you gave him the invitation to come on, so I think it would be beneficial if he came on, but I don't know. I don't think it's even worth the time, I guess, because it doesn't seem like he's willing to come on. I don't know. I don't see what the problem is with the conversation.
He's still ranting about how he wants me to tell him what county I'm in. So I believe it's Coconino County. I have to check on that. So I'm on the land known as Coconino County. So there you go. That's all you want to know. You just want to know what county I'm in. So now you know. And then the other one is because we're on the border over here. I have to look into it. I'll get back to you with that information, right? Because again, I would love to see what you have to offer. Because again, you're not going to come up here and have an intelligent conversation. So you want to play that role. If you want to go there, then we're open for that too. We can take it wherever you want to go with it, right? Again, it's ludicrous to think that. Okay, let me move on from this. Nicholas, I'm sorry. These folks fascinate me. And again, I'm a gambler, so part of me likes to gamble beyond even what's good for me. But again, Gimpy Boy might be my huckleberry. You never know. So give me more, Nicholas, Peter, your final words. What do you think we should work on here? What could you do without? What could you absolutely do without? What do we need more of? And do you want to work together privately? Because I think you did reach out to me to have a conversation.
Yes. I was a little busy. So then we, because you were asking about like the day after I had mentioned it. So yeah, I do still have a bunch of interviews on YouTube that I gotta start editing and sprucing up, and I'm gonna throw them on BitChute and all that stuff. So I'm trying to focus on that. But I wanted, like, because I was holding off on these other two interviews, but I wanted to have you on before I started doing just editing for now. So yeah, we can totally do that another time. I know that you're friends with Andre Mitty on Facebook, and I've had him on my channel two times. He's an excellent guy, and I talked to him briefly just earlier, and he's interested. He would love to have like a 3-way conversation with us and just talk about a bunch of different things. So I don't want to get into much right now because I know it's already been almost 3 hours for you. But yeah, just working on ourselves, like you talked about, like working on our own shadow and just focusing on ourselves and looking in the mirror and looking inward instead of like you were talking about with the flat earth and the round earth, and just talking about things that are outside of our control and not really fundamental with our day-to-day lives and what's happening and what state we're in right now. So yeah, there's I just bought this book from this gentleman, Odysseus. He wants to come on my channel, but Shadow Awakening.
I'm getting scared. I'm getting scared, Nicholas.
Your thoughts are scaring you.
Yeah, because Gimpy Boy's down there and he's talking a lot, and I might have to start rolling around with the big dog, Nick. I might have to start rolling around with the big dog because Gimpy seems threatening. He's saying I have to unblock all of his other accounts, LOL, right? So he seems like a dangerous person. Seems like somebody I have to worry about because he's worried about me blocking his other accounts. So that's a dangerous man. That's someone you got to watch out for. I've met a lot of killers in my life, Nick, on the street. Folks who've taken lives, been shot at, stuff like that. And that's usually how they come across, right? They go in chats, they follow people around, they beg for accounts to be unblocked, then they make threats in the chat. So I might have to start rolling around with the big dog because he's scaring me. He's making me afraid. And like they said, I'm on private property, I'm in hiding, and I need the guns because I'm scared. And these are the folks I'm scared of, right? Because they keep threatening me, threatening my life. They're saying they're going to come see me, and they're harassing me. They're cyberbullying is what it is, Nick. They're cyberbullying me, and they're making telephonic threats. And if they come for me to do something to me, I will leave them where they stand. And that's my promise, if I'm able to, right? So your thoughts on that, Nicholas?
Absolutely. You have every right to defend yourself if that comes down to that. So non-aggression principle, self-defense principle, and just do no harm, but don't take any shit from anybody. Have those boundaries and have that self-respect and have that value for yourself.
Okay, that's fine. So again, we've been clear. Folks who continue to email and make threats and make claims, this is a character. This is a broadcast. It's entertainment. You are considered, as far as I'm concerned, to be mentally ill, stalker, probably have some kind of issues. I always have a right to defend myself. Of course, I would never go out and actively do harm to anybody. If anybody wanted to meet, of course, we could meet and have a conversation like normal men, upstanding, honorable men. But again, if you folks see threatening and stalking and harassing, because see what they like to do is, Nick, some of these folks too, they like to get me to say stuff so then they can go back and try to create cases, right? That's how cowardly they are. They'll come in and they'll try to either get me on a broadcast or in a private message to say something and twist it, misinterpret it, and then say I'm on here doing X, Y, Z. So these are the most cowardly, lowest of low folks. And they would love to see me set up in prison or harmed. They're not, of course, going to do it themselves because they know I have a right to defend myself. And they also know that, again, this is filed under entertainment, because if it wasn't, I'd get banned. And they're still trying to ban me from time to time. So it is, of course, all under the purview of entertainment. Nobody feels unsafe. Nobody's threatened. And nobody's in any danger unless, of course, they try to do harm to me. So again, your final thoughts. I want to take us up out of here. It's been a blessing as usual. Yeah, give us your final thoughts. I'm gonna let you go. And I think I'm gonna bring back MacGyver for final thoughts, and then I'm gonna wrap up.
All right, not a problem. I appreciate you having me on anyway. But yeah, with shit, what was I about to say? With your weed, I wanted to ask you about that really quick. So is that homegrown? Because I have some. Oh, it might scare some people, but yeah, I got some like homegrown myself. I've been doing that for a few years now. So
yeah, that's pretty scary. That's a little extreme, growing plants and herbs. Who knows how much of that you have lying around? You might have more than the allotted amount. So
I do.
Yeah. We might be able to talk a little bit about that another time, but for right now, after everything I just said and what's being said down there, and again, what's been happening recently with folks, it's probably best we don't get any more unsafe. So I'm gonna let you go. We'll be back here tomorrow. Appreciate you, of course. Look forward to seeing and hearing from you again. I'm gonna contact you privately because, again, I think you said you wanted to do something with somebody, have a conversation, create content, whatever it is. I'm open for it. So
yeah, if you're still doing that common law class, I would love to do that. Because I remember you mentioned that in one of your videos from like a year ago. So if you ever want to do that common law class, I can totally do some sort of donation things. I'd love to learn more about that stuff even more than I somewhat know. I don't know very much about it, but
yeah, I mean, there's other resources out there that you can go and get already. And yeah, we can conference. And yeah, at the end, again, it's on you if you wish to contribute. I don't, it's not a requirement for me,
Yeah.
right? If you really want to know this stuff and understand it the way I do, and you're willing to stand on it, then it's part of my responsibility, right? This is my idea of true service. It's part of my responsibility to at least give folks my perspective, right? I've gotten away from telling people, well, this is what should happen, shouldn't happen. I never really was there, but I've gotten completely away from it. I lead folks back to themselves, right? You have to know in your mind and heart, put it on paper and then stand on it. I can't really give you my documents in my way and because it wouldn't be the same, right? It has to come from your mind and heart and your penmanship. So we'll talk more, like I said, privately. And then, if you wish to contribute, that's on you. It's not a requirement, but I do always appreciate when folks see value and then they give what they see as valuable in exchange. So that shows equity, right? In a sense, it's a trustworthy action to a degree. So yeah, again, we're not for sale, but at the same time, we do appreciate when folks say, well, we see value here and we contribute because we believe in equity, value for value, right? So I'm gonna let you go. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 to 12, and then 5 to 9, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Look forward to having you back, man.
All right, take care. Thanks so much.
So